to the clutches of the Empire, to be used as the provisions to enhance their galactic systems of control and surveillance. A brave alliance of underground broadcasters and doctrinals who challenge the
Welcome to the Liberty Revolt live stream,
galactic empire,
episode 1
from a frequency
of the morning show. We are getting ready here.
Heads. Rebel broadcasters have won their very first victory in the battle of truth. While the galaxy awakens to the reality of their corporate technocratic enslavement, the mask of illusions slip, revealing a face of lies. The Empire fears that another rebel victory would thrust thousands more into the rebellion, and imperial control over the galaxy would be lost forever. To crush the rebellion once and for all, the Empire is constructing a sinister new social paradigm.
Hi, Tracy.
Completion of this great reset.
Hi, Tracy. Welcome to the... We are here, finally.
Bucky, Dillon, and Kevin Lorusso.
And we're live. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Buckaroo.
How are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. We actually have the live stream up right now.
We do have the live stream up. We figured it out, guys, finally. It took us a little bit of time to get everything in order so that we could live stream.
When's the podcast coming? When are we getting this stuff out on podcast?
I talked to Ryan. The podcast should, it might be set up already.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so...
Yeah, Spotify, iTunes, on the video.
Google. Maybe?
I don't know. I think so. There's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, so this live stream little thing here, we are currently on Facebook and YouTube, although that is probably not going to last too long because we are not going to censor anything whatsoever about what we talk about here on the morning show. I'm not going to not say the words ivermectin, vaccine, COVID. I'm not saying those words.
And we're literally about to go through the list of tweets
of
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It's actually quite funny. I enjoy it quite a lot.
Welcome to our first and our last live stream.
Yeah, no, it's going to be. We try to make sure that you guys can access this show in as many different.
Brent, sure. Man, you guys would tune in at any time of day, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, people, we need more call-ins, and it's nice to have some comments.
Yeah, the call-in number 877-488-1360.
If you want to join in the conversation, if you are someone who follows us on live and you want to call in and actually talk to us, 488 or 877-488-1360 is the way to go. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, we were talking about this last hour in the social media and stuff like that. I want to read some of these tweets because while I disagree with someone being kicked off of Twitter and stuff like that for putting up dissenting information. Okay, she's not the brightest of the bunch, guys. So it's quite a few tweets. Tweet number 1 is a tweet. It's like a tweet stream. It's 2022. After 2020, we crossed into a new time dating method. BC and AC, before COVID and after COVID. We are moving into the third year AC. Before COVID, people didn't go to the doctor for medical tests unless you were sick. After COVID testing has become required for whether you're sick or not. The only people winning are the companies who sell COVID tests because the government mandates it. Now, pause here. Because apparently, Bucky, yearly physicals were not a thing. Yearly, colonoscopies were not a thing. Cancer screenings were not a thing. Blood work was not a thing. All these things people used to do to diagnose diseases that are around that they don't necessarily know about apparently wasn't a thing to Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is, again, I do not support her getting booted, but come on, this is the kind of stuff that gives people like us a really difficult time in convincing, your people on the left, your branch Covidians that they're actually in the wrong boat because this is just not true. People have been going to get tests whether sick or not for a long time. It's just it wasn't a flu test. So the fact that there's a COVID test now, it's like, oh, this is some new thing. No, they did this for cancer. They did this for a lot of things. Before COVID, employers were angered by employees that being sick to get out of work. After COVID, employers demand COVID testing weekly of unvaccinated employees displaying 0 symptoms and send them home from work if they are positive but not even sick, killing productivity. I don't think employers are any happier about that now than they were before.
True.
You think employers now are like, well, it says you have COVID. I'm very happily sending you home, and I'm very happy that you're not going to be contributing to our workplace anymore. It's not like these companies haven't been fighting against these vaccine and testing mandates because of exactly that. We don't want people having to send people home asymptomatic, especially if asymptomatic spread is almost impossible, which is what the science says it is. Tweet number 4, before COVID, well, people would have scoffed at long lines of people testing to find out if they are sick or not. After COVID, well, people are required to COVID test to be allowed to work, or in hopes that they test positive in order to get out of work. This one is, there is something to that. Like, why are people all of a sudden standing incredibly long lines to get, tested for these diseases? Although I don't know too much. I don't know enough historical information to point out the stupidity in this tweet very effectively. Do you?
Nope.
Well, so we're 3 out of 4 that have said something crazy. 5. Before COVID, employers didn't demand employees' vaccine records, and firing employees based on their private medical info would have been discrimination and grounds for lawsuits. After COVID, healthy employees are fired, not based on job status, but on vac status. That is fact check 100% true, right? And why I'm kind of doing this is because I'm trying to show, look, just because someone is a little bit wild or crazy does not mean everything they say is wrong. That's why it's a logical fallacy to say to attack someone's character rather than attack what they're saying. And this is what happens a lot. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene put out 19 tweets. Some of them are true, but the ones that are true are getting muddied by the ones that are blatantly and obviously false. 6, before COVID, people were welcomed anywhere, and there was no discrimination based on vaccine status. No one ever asked. After COVID, unvaccinated healthy people are a subclass being fired and denied services, even though they have natural immunity and aren't sick. Look, so 5 and 6, there's quite a bit of truth in these, and I don't know about you, Bucky, and we're going to get into this more when we return, but there is something to be said for the discrimination that is coming out of this, and this is like, that one I don't. It's hard for me to say too much about, but I look at it or I read this thing and I'm like, there's some truth to this. So 3 of these have been crazy, 1 of them has been neutral, and 2 of these have been kind of true. And I wonder, like, because we're about to go to break here, I wonder, out of the remaining 15 of these, I wonder just how many of them are actually wildly crazy.
It's totally possible. I'm waiting for a tweet about Jewish space lasers.
Oh yeah, no, that one was. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Twitter Report here on 1360 KHNC.
Is the driveway made of fruit leather, or has the apple stopped appling? If your half of a 100-foot cottonwood tree just needs a haircut, call Affordable Tree Service North at 970-568-6898. We have saved many trees everyone else said was dead. Hey, you're not in this one either. From fire mitigation, bushes, trees to bees. That's 568-6898.
1360khnc.com has CBD products. Click on the shop button and get yours today.
Just go to 1360khnc.com/shop. The CBD on our website is 99% pure, all natural, no pesticides, non-GMO, is grown organically right here in Colorado. It's 100% THC free. Oh,
sorry, those of you on the live stream, we are here. We are having a great day.
Right. I am working on.
I have a bit of an echo going on here. Let me try to change that because
I've got all these different computers.
The problem is that I have another microphone right here for the live stream, and
setup.
Yeah, no, Bucky keeps disappearing around under the desks because Bucky is wild like that.
Let me give you guys a look around. So this is where
what is Bucky doing?
I operate from.
Hey, Buck, this sounds pretty quiet, by the way.
Kevin Lorusso is over there.
Welcome to the tour of the studio, everybody. Brent, Tracy, Sherry. Oh my gosh, Janine, Ryan, it's so good to see you guys. We have missed you. We've missed you on the stream. Hopefully, we're going to be able to do this every single day because we're here every single morning. We'd like to be able to put more content out. You guys, we are not joking when we say we are potentially going to be adding Rumble into this, and we would love for you guys to be able to go get some Rumble account.
If you guys have any questions,
over there.
Put it down in the comment section. We'll try to address them.
Hey, Bucky. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Twitter report here. We are going through some of Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweets that got her banned. And the reason why is because I think it's very important to talk about the difference between someone going after someone incorrectly, going after someone the wrong way, because it's not like everything she said is true, which is what I think sometimes conservatives look at. It's like, I wouldn't even say that, actually. I would say a lot of people go, all she was spouting was the truth. Well, not entirely, and that's part of the problem. But again, it's also not everything she said was false either. She's mixed in. It's a mixture of the true and the true and the false, which I know we're all guilty of. But I think it's really important for us to be able to honestly look at this and go, well, this is clearly not true. This is. Because otherwise we'll never have any kind of standing. You'll never be able to have these discussions with the people that actually matter, which is your family and your friends, your local community, because we're reaching a point where this issue is the most important issue of the day. The amount of authoritarian measures coming out of it, the amount of authoritarian policies, the division, the derisiveness that's coming from it. We can no longer pretend like it's not an issue that needs to be directly addressed within our communities. But we have to be able to honestly and objectively discuss what's going on in politics. And honestly, I think this is fun to do because, again, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, famous for her Jewish space lasers destroying power generators in California and causing the fires. That you do know that's what it was. She was saying, like,
I don't know. I'm not.
It was hilarious. People. But anyway, so her sixth tweet is, before COVID, well, people were welcomed everywhere. There's no discrimination based on vaccine status, and no one ever asked. Like, that's a kind of a true statement unless you look at the AIDS epidemic. AIDS, like, it's when you saw the AIDS epidemic going on, it was the same kind of thing. It was the same kind of ostracization. You would have nurses and doctors would refuse to touch or treat AIDS patients. By the way, our phone lines right now are down. We are having an issue with our system on that end. So we're working on it. But before COVID, people were discriminated. After COVID, unvaccinated. Anyways, the AIDS epidemic, there was a lot of discrimination against this kind of stuff, and it was not right. And we realized you can look back on it and you will know it's not right. But in the time, a lot of people thought this was like the smart thing to do. I'm wondering, 30 years from now, are we going to be looking back on how we treated unvaccinated people the same way we treated AIDS patients back in the day?
No, I think people are going to hold on to their biases. It's much easier to blame others than to accept blame, especially when it comes to masses of people. I think the people who are hating on the unmasked and unvaccinated, they're going to continue to justify their feelings. And perhaps it will cause some people to delve into some introspection and reconsider their opinions. That is what kind of took me from being a progressive to moving more towards the side of liberty.
Which is why they can't have us do that.
I got so angry at someone for disagreeing, someone close to me, and I stormed away from there just feeling full of disgust and anger. And then I thought back on those feelings, and for quite a while, I believed I was justified. Yeah. It took me a while to wake up and say, wait a minute, why is he so kind and loving still?
Yeah.
Why am I the one that is
a jerk?
acting like a total jerk?
Yeah.
Why am I the one that's acting like this and feeling like this? And then it took a while to sort through those feelings. But that was also, a case where the person that I was angry with was continually reaching out lovingly to try to connect with me and try to move past these differences in opinion. And then I was like,
they treated you like a human being.
I was like, okay, why is it that this person is being so kind and I am being so rude? And it took a lot of time. I don't know if that's something that can be applied to this broader situation.
Well,
especially when you have these kind of media narratives that are going to try to pursue that as long as possible. I mean, are we going to wait and count on our media pundits and our politicians to admit that they were wrong?
Yeah, no, that's the issue, is like that coming along, probably not going to happen. Although it's what you're seeing going on in the media, they might not have to admit they're wrong. They're probably just going to get replaced with people that are better for ratings, quote unquote.
Or they're going to start saying things that are closer to the right thing,
Yep.
and then act like they never ever said
Oh,
anything
you mean
different.
like what's going on right now? Like, you mean like exactly what's going on right now, where Joe Biden's like, hey, there's no federal solution to COVID. Oh yeah, you think? Fauci's coming out saying, oh look, what did he say the other day? He said that we should be focusing on hospitalizations, not raw numbers. Oh really, Mr. Fauci? Oh really, Mr. Faucist? You have the CDC coming out and acknowledging the breakthrough cases, and that being fully vaccinated does not protect you. Requiring booster shots and all this kind of stuff. It's like, oh, you mean the stuff that people like you and I have been saying for like a year now? Yeah, this is. Welcome to the show. They're just going to pretend they have always been saying it, because if they can do that for the thing is, Bucky, is that they're saying these things now that we have always been saying. But what have they also been doing while we've been saying these things? Making sure no one that follows their line of thinking is ever exposed to us saying these things. So when they start putting them out there, it seems like new information. It seems like
further proof that they've been right and are on the right track.
Exactly. So coming into the 2022 midterms, it won't look like, oh, why? So you're telling me that in the year where you could be vaccinated, more people died than in the previous year? More people have died since the vaccine came out than before the vaccine? You're telling me that, like, children were never at risk for this thing? Because you've seen they're trying to convince people children are also at severe risk of the new Omicron variant. Because, like, that was a big pushback was, wait a second, there hasn't been very many children that have actually died from this. And as far as Johns Hopkins is concerned, no child has actually died of purely this disease.
Yeah, it's interesting. And even in the news reports that come out, they're like, all these mask mandates are being re-implemented across the nation and across the state of Colorado as Omicron cases skyrocket. 91% of all Omicron or COVID cases in Colorado right now are Omicron, and we only heard about it 2.5 weeks ago. So they're just they never leave out the fact that this thing is like less deadly than the common cold.
No, it is. It is as deadly as, at the very least, which means, so we shouldn't really do much about this?
Right. You wouldn't mandate masks and lock down your business for the cold.
No, you wouldn't. And I'm going to, I need to readdress, like, the Peter McCullough and the Dr. Robert Malone interviews and the Pierre Corey, because I need to just, be reintroduced with all the data and everything like that. But if you look at this, this is a disease that primarily affects people who are going to be at risk of disease, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Old people and the infirm, like those that, especially if you don't take care of yourself. That's been the big thing as well. It's like, look, if you want to be honest, what's killing people? What about COVID is killing people? It's killing people that are obese. It's killing people that don't take care of themselves. It's killing people that are either too old, too sick, like they have cancer, or they're obese,
immunocompromised in some way.
Yeah. But again, no, obesity is like 87% of deaths have featured obesity. 97% of deaths have featured multiple comorbidities. It's crazy.
And I got into an argument with somebody about vaccine passports and Colorado music venues, things like that. And they were like, well, if you are not vaccinated and you spread it to somebody who is immunocompromised, and you are imposing upon their freedom to go out and do things. And I asked into a group chat with you and the Trebuchet gang about, hey, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Like, what is your retort? And you actually had the best one. For once, Kevin had a sharp, coherent thought that I respected.
Yeah, we do.
You said the exception does not get to impose their condition on the majority.
Yeah.
Right. And that's absolutely true. If you are immunocompromised to the point that even after, being vaccinated and all these things, and even though they've shown that these vaccines, you can still contract it, you can still exhibit symptoms, you can still spread it to everyone. In fact, they can't find a case where someone with natural immunity has ever done that.
Yeah. Beside the point.
You don't get to impose your condition on everybody else. If I'm allergic to peanut butter, I don't get to say, okay, you, Mike and Brent and Tracy and everybody else, you therefore don't get to have peanuts. Nobody can have peanuts. We're going to make extinct the peanut bush.
They grow in the ground, I'm pretty sure.
I know it's not a tree.
Yeah, no, it's not a tree. I don't know. I found them growing in the ground before. I don't know. Who knows? But what I do know is the thing is it's 100% correct. Yet you look at elementary schools now, they're outright banning peanuts in a lot of schools because of the growing peanut allergy.
And you know what they've discovered?
What?
Since doing that, peanut allergies have skyrocketed.
Exactly.
They have discovered that when a mother, either pregnant or a newborn child, comes into contact with peanuts, the child is significantly less likely to develop allergies to peanuts.
Yeah.
Right? Because the human body has an immune system and is adaptable. And it's only going to adapt to what you expose it to. And so if you are living in a bubble, you're going to be forced to live in a bubble.
Yeah. Well, and so in RFK Jr.'s book, The Real Anthony Fauci, which I recommend everybody read, because it's not just about Dr. Fauci, it's about the NIAID, the NIH, the CDC, all of these institutions that have led to the crumbling of America. He points out, look, dude, like, I'm not saying vaccines aren't great, but I am saying that there is something weird about the fact that since vaccines have been introduced, and since Anthony Fauci specifically has taken over these institutions, you're seeing allergy rates for all things go up. You're seeing autism rates for all things going up. It went from like 1 in 200 to 1 in 34 as far as various levels of autism, and the science suggests that it's potentially an autoimmune disorder, not like an actual mental deficiency. It's something that's created, not something it's created after birth, as opposed to like in vitro. And it's like, well, these questions should be answered. And what it does is it doesn't speak to the fact that you shouldn't get vaccinated, because there's 100% reasons to get vaccinated for a lot of things, like rabies and whatnot. But it does speak to the fact that this blind loyalty, there can be no wrong done by these people. These are 100% goods. No, nothing is ever that case. Nothing is ever 100% good or 100% bad, I'm pretty sure. I mean, there are actions that are, but very rarely people.
My wife is 100% good.
There are very rarely people that are 100% good or 100% bad. In fact, I can only think of one person off the top of my head that was ever 100% good. But that's beside the point. What it does speak to is like, look, these institutions have been doing this to us for a long time. Regulatory capture is 100% a thing. It's 100% occurred. And there is absolutely no reason why there should just be this blind loyalty. Me saying, look, I just want to see more data, or look, I don't think it's worth the risk to me to take this. I don't get why that should be so controversial, and yet it is.
Right. Again, 21,002 deaths associated with the vaccine. And this is more deaths than associated with almost any other vaccine that have recorded data for. And this is data being released from the CDC. You could already take that with a grain of salt there, but the fact that they're willing to admit it, and yet you can still be removed from social media platforms for sharing CDC data.
Yep. No, you're not allowed to quote stuff they don't like, even if the CDC puts it out here. Not at all.
Hey, again, the way I've been, viewing this, and of course my view has been of the sky only, because I've been doing the neo backwards bend as I dodge vaccinations for 2 years. My view is I have a 99.98% chance of surviving COVID and a 100% chance of surviving the side effects of the vaccine by not getting vaccinated. And I haven't been vaccinated. I'm not going to get vaccinated. And if they try to force some kind of vaccine mandate on me, well, I don't think it's going to work. I think there's enough people like me. We'll set up our own economy.
Yeah, potentially. I'd be all there for it. You are listening to the compliance report at 1360 KHNC.
We here at KHNC.
So, Brent, are you asking how many deaths have been associated with the COVID vaccine? According to CDC data, according to CDC VAERS data, it is 21,002.
Hi, folks. I'm James
21,002.
Associates LLC. I know it must seem like there's a million realtors out there making all kinds of promises. Want to hear my big marketing promise?
Thank you guys so much for joining in. By the way, we're going to be here basically every day from here on out if we can.
And it is not very catchy, but it is true. I am your Colorado real
He has
estate
all of these
specialist.
things memorized.
Farmland, mountain
All of
cabins,
them.
or urban dwellings. When you work with my team, we'll get the right property for you and be upfront and honest with you every step of the way. Over the years, my clients have told me
it's quite a lot.
that
Let's see. I was looking for
industry.
something.
If you are considering buying or selling real estate, call me, James Morgan, at 720-203-0731 or visit my website at coloradoproperties.online.
Where is it? There it is. I found it. Oh,
Just a client-first, honest real estate experience. Hit it, girls.
Keep listening to the American Freedom Network.
Hi, this is Ron Skoya, owner of New Method Cleaner, Northern Colorado's oldest dry cleaners, family owned and operated since 1970. We use the latest non-toxic state-of-the-art tensioning unit to assure a quality and consistent finish. Located in Severance and Fort Collins, from wedding gowns to sleeping bags, we do it all. For info and directions, call us at 970-775-0623. Again, 970-775-0623.
Hi, folks. The Rev here. The Hunting and Sportsman's Gun Show is Northern Colorado's premier event in 2021. These shows feature dozens of vendors that guarantee the best selection of guns and ammo in Northern Colorado. From the Loveland Outlet Malls to Island Grove Park and Greeley. For show dates, locations, or table reservations, visit peshows.com. That's peshows.com. While you're out, visit Harsh Outdoors at 600 Oak Avenue in Eden. They carry a full line of ATVs, UTVs, mowers, trimmers, sprayers, and chainsaws from Husqvarna, DR, Generac, and Easy Go. Whether you have half an acre or 1,000.
I'm trying to share this to my Facebook.
They also have a full-line gun store with lots of firearms, ammo, safes, and accessories. Check out harshoutdoors.com. That's harshoutdoors.com. Backyard or back 40, Harsh Outdoors has you covered.
Hi, everybody. Glenn Tate, co-host of Prepping 2.0.
Shelby Gallagher here. Join us Saturdays at 9 a.m.
right here on 1360 KHNC,
where we bring you great ideas to take your preps to the next level.
All right. Yep.
Ryan makes a tremendous point. While we've been so focused on forcing vaccinations, and by the way, if the herd is sick, weak, and overweight, no amount of shots is going to make them healthy.
No, it's not. It is absolutely not. And oh my gosh.
But while we've been focused on mandating vaccinations, lockdowns, and everything else, the cure has been worse than the disease. We've had such an uptick in overdoses, uptick in domestic violence, suicides, depression, and crime. But crime may be associated with other bad policies, again, pursued by the government. It's like almost every good thing I can think of has been a product of the free market and the free exchange of human ideas and productivity. And almost every bad thing I can think of has been the result of the government and government policies, including COVID-19, which we funded, the United States government, and China let out and covered up. Okay.
No, I know, like the NIH. No, wait, no, that was not gain of function research. We did not fund gain of function research. Sure, we gave them money, and sure they were doing it to like figure out how to increase the spreadability amongst humans, but that was not gain of function research. That is, you are a liar. You are full of crap, Mr. Rand Paul. This is I'm doing everything I can to get us banned. We are not funding any gain of function. There is no gain of function, and if it is gain of function, it's being done. It's being done ethically and well sourced. It's like, we know you're funding that gain of function research over there. You can't lie to us over here. That's my right call.
What exactly do you call it when you take a virus from nature?
Yep.
And you bring it into a lab and you start playing with it to make it more deadly and more contractable to human beings. When you start adding functions to the original version of the disease, and it starts gaining all these attributes, gaining all these functions, what do you call that? Well, that wasn't specifically what we were funding. We were sending them funding for other things, and then that just released some funding that they can now afford to reallocate.
Oh my gosh, dude! I'm looking at the numbers here, and it's the number of fentanyl deaths in the U.S. doubled from 32,000 to 64,000 between April 2019 and April 2021. The drug has taken just shy of 80,000 people's lives. 80,000 people between January 2020 and December 2021. 80,000 people.
Oh, and guess where the vast majority of this fentanyl is originating from?
Oh, you're not going to say China, are you? You're not going to. I hope you're not going to say China.
It's the same place. It's the same place. It's almost as though they're pursuing some kind of unrestricted warfare policy against the American people.
Wait, but you didn't say the country.
Oh, I want to continue receiving 5-star reviews on Amazon, so I'm not going to.
Oh, well, yeah, it is China. Oh my God, it's China. Of course it's China. Of course it's China. It's always China. No, they are one of the largest supplier of pharmaceuticals to our country. I'm sure they do not hand out fentanyl in the numbers that we do to their own people. Right? I'm sure the CCP does not do that to its own people, but here we are. Fentanyl killed more people last year than COVID. Oh, suicide did as well. More people between the age of 18 and 45. Let me clarify for our YouTube overlords before they come in and give us the ban hammer on some easily correctable like that. Between the age of 18 and 45, more people died of fentanyl overdoses and I believe suicide in 2020 than COVID, which is like, oh. So we don't care about people. This isn't about doing what's healthy for the people. I keep telling everyone it's about power. It's about power. It's about taking power. The cultural Marxist approach is about understanding, identifying hierarchies of power or hierarchies in general, and then making it so you're at the top. That's the whole point. Like taking them over, filling them with your ideology, being able to weaponize them and use them for quote unquote the greater good. That is what the whole point of these things. That's what the whole point is figuring out where the power lies, and then figuring out how you can manipulate that institution to serve your needs. Am I wrong? Please tell me.
Absolutely.
I'm
absolutely.
wrong.
That wouldn't possibly happen.
No, not in the slightest. It's not like cultural Marxism hasn't been, like the purveying.
They care about us, Kevin.
Hey, yes.
These are public servants you're talking about.
If you told them that they're actually a public servant, they'd probably have you, be the next to unalive yourself via shots to the back of the head. Because they see them, granted, yes, they're public servants, which is a very good semantic game to play, but they view themselves as our public overlords. They view themselves as a class above us. No, you are a public servant. Why do I have to refer to someone in the judicial system as Your Honor? You are not better than me. You are a servant. You serve me. It is not. I don't get why we allow these institutions.
Right, the Honorable Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Well, you go and you speak to a judge and you have to call him Your Honor. It's like, why are you my honor? I've read the U.S. Constitution. I've read the Bill of Rights. Clearly, you people, specifically judges, have played one of the biggest roles in allowing this country to crumble and allowing power to become manifested in the way it is. If you look at the freaking Supreme Court, at no point is that actually serving its function the way it's supposed to be serving it. At no point are they actually going, wow, what is the actual intention?
It's interesting because the Supreme Court was intended to be a check on the executive and the legislature, and to make sure that we were abiding by the framework put forth in the Constitution and by the values put forth in the Declaration of Independence. And see, instead of making corrupt laws and regulations illegitimate, they have inherently become a tool used to legitimize corrupt laws.
Yeah.
Because they now get the stamp of not only disapproval, but the stamp of approval at the same time. It's just like the Federal Reserve. They give it the power to artificially navigate out of depressions. And in order to give it that power, they have to give it the power to artificially create depressions.
Exactly.
And then look at the boom and bust cycle. That didn't exist prior to 1914.
No, but you'll have people say that's just a natural result of capitalism, and it could be that there's going to be ups and downs in the market, and it's not always going to go up. But prior to the government's intervention, the downs were not as bad as they are now. The Great Depression was fueled by the government. It was fueled by intervention into the market, because had you just allowed it to play out, people would have realized, wait a second, there's no reason to disinvest. Let's put our money back in the bank.
And this is why it's such an uphill battle, because they have the power, the elite that have the ability to manipulate our currency and to set laws in place, the elite that have the ability to print money into their own hands and then spend it paying off their constituencies. They can do these silly little tricks where they crash the economy, and then they propose welfare programs to make you dependent. And then they just go back and forth between wrecking your self-sufficiency and then offering you dependency, offering you slavery over and over. This is the game. This is the trick. This is how they get you. Pay attention. Awake, not woke.
In 1964, a 10-cent dime.
He said what's on the hat. He said the name of the movie in the movie.
Well over
Bucky's not paying attention between the breaks, but I am, because I love you, our dear streamers, even though all of you are just giving him your love. No love for me. It's okay. I'm the only one that's actually interacting with you. Bucky's over there just pretending y'all don't exist. You can't even hear what I'm saying right now. He's just existing.
800-951.
Don't worry, though, because I'm still here. We appreciate all of you guys from tuning in. We hope today's show's been pretty good.
Or have you always just wanted to be on the radio? Here at 1360 KHNC, you can do just that by hosting your own radio show. Looking to grow your business or share your thoughts and opinions, or simply bragging to your friends that you have your own radio show. For more information, call us at 970-587-5003.
Should we give him one of these numbers?
Email us at contact@1360khnc.com.
What's up, guys? It's Bucky Dillon from Your Morning Show, and I am proud to be partnered with Pride Roofing and Construction. There was a large windstorm recently. As many of you know, a lot of people's roofs ended up right in their lawn. Well, Pride Roofing and Construction would love to be the company that helps you out, and I cannot recommend them highly enough. They will come out and do a free, no-obligation inspection just so you know the condition of your home, and they will help you with every step of the insurance claim process. Just call 970-825-9305. Pride Roofing and Construction.
The Loveland PE Gun Show, December 11th and 12th, has two giveaways from Zip Guns: a Springfield Hellcat on Saturday and an AR-15 on Sunday. Guns, ammo, knives, military surplus, self-defense products, and much more. Located off of I-25 and Highway 34 West at the outlets at Loveland. Buy, sell, and trade, and $50 CCW classes on Saturday and Sunday. See PEShows.com to register. That's PEShows.com. See you at the show.
Hello and welcome back to the happy fun times here on 1360 KHNC.
Half full cup of Joe.
Yeah, no, we are the properly proportioned cup that is fully full, because we don't like waste and we don't like excess space in our lives. So no half empty or half full. We are right where we need to be. I'm just kidding, guys. we are, you know, we're
right where they want us.
We've kind of been going after today. We've kind of been talking about like the overlords and the COVID overlords and all of that kind of stuff. And I was kind of reading off Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet storm that got her banned, which honestly, I want to continue a couple more of them because it's very important to point out, like, not, you know, there are some things that she's saying that are very, very correct here. Like before COVID, masking healthy children from a virus that hardly is a risk to any child was unheard of and would never happen. And she's right. Like now parents are, it takes all of my self-control when I'm walking around and I see, you know, I'm walking around Larimer County and I see, especially outside, but even when I'm indoors, a family walking around and the parents have masks on their 5 and 6 year old children. That drives me absolutely insane. How? Like, how can you look at that and think that's okay if not for the Branch Covidians?
And number one, it's not even going to work. I don't know if you've ever watched a child with a mask on for any length of time.
Oh yeah,
they're pulling
that's what the
off,
CDC
they're touching
says.
Their face, they're touching everything. They're putting it back on.
Yeah, the CDC just
work.
came out and agreed with you and said it's pointless to require masks in schools.
As far as I can tell, it might as well be a hijab. All it is a symbol of religious feeling.
Yes, it is. It's the same as a hijab or a yarmulke or what's another a turban for a Sikh. Like it's all it is a religious symbol that you
right. Virtue signaling about COVID online and wearing your mask and bragging about your vaccination status. It's the same as taking the Fauci community.
Yeah, at least in these other cases, they're actually, you know, doing it in fealty to something beyond themselves, beyond the world, and that is, you know, it's not something that's going to directly destroy every person's life around them in this moment right now. No, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it is exactly the religious symbol that a lot of people who are not religious seek to avoid, yet inevitably do. Right? Have you ever heard of the horseshoe theory? It's this belief that political ideologies and what they believe in is not shaped in a line from one side to the other, but it's shaped in a horseshoe where the opposite ends of the political spectrum are actually significantly closer to each other. And the widest part is in the moderate level, and then like it comes back to centrism. But just imagine, instead of having a line of left and right, it's a horseshoe, wherein the opposite ends come closer together.
Yeah, I always imagine a circle. You know, libertarianism at the top.
Yeah,
because it's the best.
Yeah. What's the top of a circle?
And complete authoritarianism. Well, you know, if you put a circle on the wall, there's going to be an elevated part. Yeah.
But if you look at the most extremist religious people, they hate the non-religious, and you look at the most non-religious, most extreme non-religious people, they hate the religious, right? They both do these things where they show signs. You know, some religions they won't shave, some religions they have to grow their hair out, some religions, you know, they have to put on certain makeups and stuff like that. And you see the same exact thing on the far left, right? Some of the LGBTQ religion, you have to wear bright colors, you have to, you know, change that. The mask for the Branch Covidians, you have to wear your mask and get your I got jab stuff, and some people will even get tattoos of their religion on them. You know, what's the difference between getting a tattoo of a Band-Aid over where you got your vaccine versus the tattoo of a cross? It's like it's extremism. It's religious extremism just amongst the people that don't think they're religious, which makes it almost even worse because they're entirely blind to what is truly guiding them along their way. They're entirely blind as to where their ideas are actually coming from. Buckaroo.
Yeah, we're going to have Spike Cohen coming on the show in the pretty near future. I'm excited because, you know, we're talking about religion, we're talking about politicians and political perspectives. And, you know, people get caught up in, you know, when they think about these things, they don't think about what they're for. They often think about what they hate. You know, they think about like, well, you know, I hate Democrats, therefore I'm a Republican, or I hate Republicans, therefore I'm a Democrat, or I hate the selfish, greedy super spreaders, therefore I'm a Branch Covidian. I hate the government, therefore I'm a libertarian. I'm excited to have a show where we're going to be talking about the things that we're for.
Yeah.
The things that we believe in, the positive aspects of things. You know, it's same thing when people think about the church. They think about all the things that the caricature of a Christian hates, right?
Yeah.
You don't think about all the things that they're for. So, that's one thing that I hope we can do in an upcoming episode is talk about why we believe what we believe and the moral foundations that we've established to be the truest and the most consistent, and how we have created the lens through which we digest the news.
Well, I think more than anything, you're 100% right. I agree that the lens that through which we perceive really not just the news and stuff like that, but really everything. There's this idea that you've heard the saying perception is reality. Well, that is true, but it's a double-edged sword though. Perception is reality, but at the same time, reality is an objective thing. There is a world in which we exist in, but we also have to perceive this, and the way we perceive it becomes our own version of reality. And the thing is that we're losing. There has to be commonalities to our realities. There has to be things that we as people, as individuals, acknowledge across the board, right? There has to be things that we can agree on, like, perception is reality, yeah, but I still perceive theft, rape, and murder as bad. I still perceive these things as not something that should be allowed or should be celebrated. What we need is, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we have lost our moral compass, if you will, as a country, and we're losing it more and more every day.
On this final segment, I'm going to talk about
yes, we're going to be positive. We're going to end on a good note today.
And why that is important.
You're listening to the complaint report on 1360 KHNC.
Hi, my name is Mindy Faulkner with Harmony Senior Referrals. My number is 720-934-7740. We are a senior placement agency that helps families find the right assisted living, memory care, and independent living for their loved ones. We put together the puzzle pieces of care needs, geography, and finances to find the right fit. We do emergency placements in as little as 24 hours at no cost to you. Again, I'm Mindy Faulkner, 720-934-7740.
Hi, I'm Joey DeQuint, and I'm here to help you protect and build your wealth so you and your family can live your best life no matter what the world throws at you.
Great. Another financial guy telling us to sell our gold and silver.
Nope, not with me. I encourage hard assets, and I know a great place to buy gold and silver.
Well, I'm sure you operate with high fees and commissions.
All right, so this is going to be our last segment, guys. How has our live stream been today?
Most financial guys are only interested in what they want to sell and don't want to listen to our customers. And we have some of the most educated listeners in the
We're worried about like the quality and stuff like that right now.
Yeah, Brent, I think the echo is when I mute my microphone, I get sound that comes out of the speakers here.
I need to figure out
and I think you're hearing Kevin through those speakers and through his personal mic. And so that's what would be causing that echo. And I'm going to try to be more aware of this. Just keep in mind, guys, this is the first attempt here at including the live stream into the radio broadcast. So there's a few kinks we're working out here, and I appreciate you guys being patient with us and hanging out with us. Raymond, Brent, Tracy, Sherry.
My speakers aren't working right now.
We appreciate you.
Also, if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan,
I got to figure that out at some point.
Janine, it's always good to see you.
Why can I not hear?
To schedule a appointment.
Seek and you shall receive. So I want to end today on kind of a positive note. I want to talk about the importance of maintaining an eye for the good things, and not just being against things, but being for things. I've heard that there's two types of people in the world. those that are in Sam's Club and they see the free sample, and those who are in Sam's Club and they see the big line in front of the free sample. I am certainly the kind of guy who I see the free sample and I get excited. My wife is certainly the kind of person to see the line and be like, nah. But your brain has this magnificent ability to tune out things. I mean, there's just so much information out there in the world. You really cannot absorb it all. We couldn't handle it all. And so we work through low resolution depictions of reality and high resolution depictions of reality. And that system is organized by our goals. And that's why it's important to have set goals. That's why it's important to write your goals down, because then it gets you in the mindset to look out for opportunities in pursuit of that goal. And if you're only thinking about and paying attention to the things that upset you and the things that anger you, it becomes kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you see more of it and you pay attention to more of it, and it takes a harder grip on you. And it does take deliberate control of the lens through which you view the world, because obviously as human beings, we're far more vulnerable than we are satisfiable. And what I mean is you can only be so happy, but you can also be totally dead, and you can suffer a whole lot along the way. And so we're inherently as human beings going to be much more sensitive to negative
I think you're sounding quite a bit like our favorite Dr. Jordan Peterson over there. You got to make sure that the first thing you do is always clean your room. How can you help the world?
Get your life together,
Bucko. I love Dr. Peterson, but that's basically there's a reason why he's as popular as he is. It's because we have a crisis of responsibility in this country. But there's a lot to be said for us just taking the time to really identify the areas in our life where we think we are the biggest cause of our problems and just start addressing it. Like, as long as you can look back on yesterday and say you're a better person today, that's really the only thing that matters. That is the only milestone. The only milestone that should really matter. Like, sure, set your long-term and short-term goals, but as long as you can, you can wake up in the morning tomorrow knowing you are a better person than you were today. That's the ultimate goal, because that means that at least every day you are improving, and that's the only thing we can always do.
Love and gratitude make you a better person.
Exactly.
And when you give that energy out there, you actually, your presence, your whatever you want to call it, your vibe, whatever, it affects 40,000 people a day. Right. And so if you go out into the world and you're spreading this dismay and this discouragement, and you're just focusing on all these things that you hate, that is being magnified in ways that you can't see. So when you go forward throughout the day, guys, just try to keep in mind that, I know it sounds corny, but an attitude of gratitude and an attitude of love and optimism and hope goes a long way. I hope you guys have the most wonderful day. Thanks for listening.
We will be here
every weekend.
We'll be
7 a.m.
same time, same place tomorrow morning, folks. It's been a great day. Happy New Year. Let's hope 2022 is better than 21.